So here's the question. Are you just going to count on that 14% and try to ride the market up? Or are you going to write the story for your 2026 to have your best year ever? Let me tell you, if you let the market, then the ebbs and flows of the market dictate your year, you're not going to have a great year. All right? I want you to have your best year ever. What is your 2026 vision? Hi there, and welcome to Real Life in Real Estate, our first episode of 2026. I am so glad that you are joining us today, here to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. And listen, I believe 2026 is going to be an unbelievable year. And so today I am flying solo because I've got some things I want to talk to you about today. As we go into this new year, I look back at 2025, and I'll be honest, in my real estate business last year, I had a phenomenal year. Actually, one of the best years that I've had. My brokerage grew by 24%. I've been out speaking all over the country, getting to meet agents from all over the country. We had a great year with the podcast. And then, like I said, my real estate sales business was one of the best years that I have had in many years, like well exceeded my goals. And let me tell you, this is one of the big reasons that I believe that I exceeded my goals is last year I wrote the Ultimate Success Framework, the 100 Days to 100K online course. And a lot of the things, the vast majority of the content in that course are things that I have done for years to keep my business running and growing. And for the last 3 or so years, I had really gotten away from the things that had made us so successful over the years. And so that is why I said, I want to help agents be more successful, and I want to get back to the basics myself. And so I wrote the Ultimate Success Framework. And a lot of it is just my experience over the years. Now, while I was writing the Ultimate Success Framework, when we were recording the online course last year, I was using it myself, and I saw my business grow. I actually did $100,000 more in GCI last year than I had done in 2024. So when a lot of people were seeing their business go down, my business was actually going up last year. So it was a phenomenal year, and that was not a plug for Ultimate Success Framework, though you should go on and buy the online course. Because I believe it's going to help you have your best year ever if you just put the framework into practice, the 100 Days to 100K Ultimate Success Framework. So we'll put up the ways that you're going to go and find that. But here's the thing. We are now in 2026, and I think 2026 is going to be a phenomenal year in real estate. So looking at the year, here are the predictions, and then I want to talk about how you are going to make it your best year ever. Looking at predictions, Lawrence Yun from the National Association of Realtors, he's our economist for the NAR. He says that existing home sales will be up 14% in 2026. This is after the last couple of years, they have been flat or down. And so we have a year where we're expecting 14% growth in the market. That's our chief economist for the NAR. Some of the other ones say that existing home sales will be up 1.7%. So Realtor.com, vastly different from Lawrence Yun. But here's the thing. Realtor.com is being very conservative on their predictions of what the interest rates will do this year. Whereas Lawrence Yun from the NAR is saying that he believes that interest rates are going to continue to creep down. And so we're going to get some benefit from that. Zillow thinks we're going to be up about 4.3% next year. Fannie Mae believes that we will be up 5.16% next year. So there are some great signs for the market. Yes, there's some differences, but Lawrence Yun, pretty sharp guy. He's done a lot of study on this stuff. I mean, that's what he does for a living. And he leads the largest housing organization in the world, the National Association of Realtors. He believes 14%. So here's the question. Are you just going to count on that 14% and try to ride the market up? Or are you going to write the story for your 2026 to have your best year ever? Let me tell you, if you let the market, then the ebbs and flows of the market dictate your year, you're not going to have a great year. All right? I want you to have your best year ever. And I want to talk today about how we're going to write the story of our 2026. What is your 2026 vision? Now, you guys, anyone that's listened to this podcast for any amount of time knows I love vision. I talk about vision all the time, but I want to help you have vision for your 2026. How does it start? I believe you've got to spend time and reflect. Let's look back, okay? Before we can look forward, I think we need to look back. What worked well in 2025? What went right in 2025? Where did I fail in 2025? Yeah, I want to know where I have failed, where I made mistakes so that I can correct that in 2026 and grow from it. All right, so we need to look back at last year. What was your total volume last year? What was your gross commission income, your GCI from last year? How many transactions did you do last year? Now, let me tell you what I did. I took our back-end brokerage software and I downloaded my report from last year. I also downloaded 2024, by the way. I loaded those reports into ChatGPT and I gave it a prompt to read the data, analyze the data, and break down the data for me to tell me what was my, GCI for the year. And based on my GCI compared to my total volume, what was my average commission that I was earning per sale over the last 2 years? Because that's what I'm going to use to predict what average commission I'm going to earn this year. And so, everybody charges different commissions. What are you charging, right? We're not talking about that. This is not a violation of any of our code of ethics or antitrust laws. We're not doing that on this show, but you need to know that. Like, you might think that you are charging 2.5% or 3%, but when it comes down to it and you only charge this one 2% and you gave a credit for a repair on this one of $2,000, and you don't realize that affects your percentages. You need to know what that number is for you so that you can make good calculations for 2026. So let's reflect on 2025, right? What went well? What didn't go so well? What do I need to correct for this year? And then know your numbers from 2025. And I would recommend even going back to 2024 and then bring AI in, the most brilliant assistant on the planet, to help you analyze those numbers and determine what you need to do this year. All right, the next thing that you need to do is you need to sit down with a notepad in front of you and you need to start dreaming about what 2026 looks like. I did this. So I got this really cool Remarkable for Christmas. My wife got it for me. I've always used my iPad, but I've been having some screen issues with it. So she got me this Remarkable. I love it so far, by the way. So I would give it high praise and really have enjoyed using it. But I sat down right before the new year and I really reflected and thought about 2025, made some notes on 2025, things that I recognized that were good, that were bad, that were ugly, things that I need to fix. But then I said, okay, what's going to make 2026 my best year ever? And the first thing I did is I started with my dreams for 2026. All right, so I can't talk about all my dreams on here because one of my dreams is something for my 25th anniversary with Elizabeth. That's my wife. We've been together in 2026. It'll be 25 years married. And I'm married way up in the world, and I'm married to an incredible woman. And I am, man, I say I hit the marital jackpot because she is incredible. Like, I didn't know how good I was getting it when I said I do, but I got it really well. And so we celebrate 25 years this year, and I'm just really excited about it. But there's something that I've been wanting to get for her. It's kind of a dream thing that that I'm going to get for her this year. And so I put it down as one of my dreams, something that has been talked about, but we've never been able to pull the trigger on. I'm doing it this year, right? Because that's one of my dreams, and I want to do that for her. Vacations. I love my vacations, right? And I dream of my vacations. So I put down where we're going on vacation this year. Some of them we had already started to plan, but man, we're going to go big on some of these vacations this year. We're going to do some incredible things with our family. And so I got those down here on my dreams. I want to put my first book out this year. Last year we got 100 Days to 100K out as an online program right there at the end of the year. And I talked about that. But this year the book is coming out. And so that's going to be my first book. And I'm really excited to push that book out to help agents achieve more through the Ultimate Success Framework. And so that's one of my dreams that I put on the list. Here's a spiritual dream that I have. I've read the Bible throughout my life. I've read the Bible. I changed my whole routine last year so that I could read more Bible, and it's been incredible. But I've never read the whole Bible in a year. This is the year for that. And so I've got an app that I'm using. I'm following a reading plan. I read 3 to 4 chapters every morning according to what the reading plan tells me. And I'm using a chronological plan that is amazing. So here's the thing. I've got these dreams, things that I've wanted to accomplish as a family or for my family or for myself. And I've made a list of all these dreams. And then I've also put some goals down on here. With those goals, like I want to lose some weight. Last year, I got some health things together. I had a very good year health-wise. I didn't lose a lot of weight. I did lose some weight, but this year I have an actual goal. I want to get down to like my fighting weight, right? So I made a goal for that. I've made a goal for debt elimination. I was able to eliminate a lot of debt that last year. I want to knock out a ton more this year, right? So I've made a goal for that. And then I've set some goals because of some of the things that are on my dream list or on my goal list this year. I have, set a goal for what I want my GCI to be this year, right? So now I'm back to what I talked to ChatGPT about. And I've set these goals this year so that I can hit my GCI that I want to hit this year, which would be maybe not the largest I've ever hit, but it would be in the top 2 or 3 years. Let's put it that way. So I've set a very aggressive goal. Now I've scaled way down from where I hit my highest GCI in the past. I don't have the big team like I used to have. So it's going to be a lot more for me to do it, but I'm ready to build my business up. And I saw the success that I had using the framework last year that I've used most of my career. Going back to that, I saw my business start to take off again. So I believe this year that I'm going to get a higher GCI. Now, I had to know how many transactions that's going to take. And then I had to break those transactions down by quarter. So I know how many do I need to hit Q1? How many do I need to hit Q2? So we're breaking those down this year. But it all starts with writing down the vision. There's a scripture in Habakkuk. It's an Old Testament book of the Bible. And in Habakkuk, it says to write the vision, make it plain so that he who reads it can run it. All right. And so I have written in my tablet here a clear vision of what I want this year to look like so that I can begin to run it. All right. Other questions you need to ask. You've got your dreams. You've put some goals down, but you need to think of some things like, what are some things you need to accomplish this year, right? Maybe it is some health things that you need to accomplish this year. Maybe you have some family events. What life events do you need to plan for? Maybe you've got a kid going off to college in the fall, or maybe you have a wedding that you need to pay for, that you need to begin to budget for. Those are life events. Maybe you need a surgery of some kind. Maybe you're planning to expand your family this year, and you need to plan for those life events so that you're ready for them. And that all fits into some of these goals that you're going to be able to set to fund your dreams, to fund your needs, to fund your life events. All right, so begin to do this, journal it, write it all down, make it plain so that it's something you can continually come back to. And then I want you to actually take it one step further, all right? I want you to vision board it. Have you ever done a vision board? I love vision boards. I've actually done several of them. In fact, the very first vision board that I ever did, I keep it in a drawer in my desk. Every time, it's like, a prominent door. So every time I open it, I see some of the visions that I had. I think the first vision board I did was like 2010 or 2011, right? And I look back on that, and there's so many things that I've accomplished from that vision board, and there's some that I continue to accomplish. One of the big things is that I wanted to honor the legacy that was handed down to me from my dad and from my mom. And go back, listen to the show that I did with my dad last year. My dad has had great impact on my life. My mom has had great impact on my life. And I got to have my dad on the show. He's been in real estate now 53 years as a broker, and he's slowed down a little bit, but man, he has so much wisdom, and I want to honor that, right? And that's on my first vision board that I ever did. And so I want you to put together a vision board, and a vision board takes your list, your dreams, the things that you've written down, and it helps you to visualize it, right? So you take your vision and you visualize it, and basically what you're doing is you are creating a picture book of sorts of the story that you're writing for 2026. Now, you might have vision board things that are like years out. That's good. I want you to have those kind of things on there. But specifically, I want you to focus in on 2026. So I've been putting my vision board together in my office. I've been taking photos. I've been taking, I'm going to the Buffalo Roundup in South Dakota this year, which I've done in the past. But this year, my whole family's going out, and my sister's whole family is going out. It's going to be a really amazing time, but it costs money for that. It's a dream for me to get to do this, right? So it's got to go on my vision board, and then I've got to plan funding it through the year, which of course I've done that with my GCI, etc., right? So I've got this awesome picture of the Buffalo Roundup, hundreds of buffalo running across, and it says Buffalo Roundup at the top. That is on my vision board. Sits right in front of me on my desk. And that's what I'm doing this year. So I have across the front of my desk all of my vision board items for the year. So they're continually in front of me. I've got a visualization every single day of what I'm chasing after for this year. And I think that's really important, right? You can write the vision, make it plain so that he who reads it runs it, but you cannot read it one time and hope that you run it for 12 months, right? You need to actually write it, create it visually in front of you so you can see the vision and keep it in front of you. That is critical, that when you have a vision for something, so that you don't lose heart, so that you don't lose hope, so that you don't stop running, you see it in front of you every single day. It's kind of like, when I think of my faith, right? One of the reasons I like to read the Bible every day is because that is very much a part of who I am. It's my faith. But the thing is, it's easy to forget how to live if you're not in it every single day, right? So it's continually refined. I'm continually being refined by the Word of God because I'm in it on a regular basis. And I encourage you to do these things. It's the same thing with your vision board. It's keeping it in front of you so that you continually are reading it and running it. All right? So I want you to create a vision board. Now, we're talking about how you're going to be successful this year. First of all, you've got to see it. That's what vision is all about. You've got to see your success. Now, you've got to see all of the dreams that you have for this year, all of the hopes that you have for this year. You've got to see it now. But then there's work involved. Just putting the vision on a board does not achieve your success, okay? You have to actually do the work that's going to get you there. My good buddy, Matthew Rathbun, who's been on this show, go back and listen to our episode that we did last year, or better yet, find a place that Matthew is teaching near you and go and just sit at his feet. I joke with him that I'm just going to sit at his feet and take in wisdom continually from him because he is so full of it. But recently he put out a post. He said, "You are both the barrier and savior of your success. The market doesn't dictate your success. Your decision to get up early, put in the work, and work your plan is what writes your success story. You have to decide to do the work. As a brokerage owner and as a team lead for many years, I've had so many agents who come into the business and they think, now that I have a license, I'm going to be successful. Now that I put one post on social media, the business is just going to start rolling in. And then they get into the business and they find this reality that this business is hard, right? They see people who do 45 to 55 transactions a year. This year, it's going to be 65. I'm upping it by 10 transactions this year. But they see people like me, and they think, man, that business must be easy. If Mark can do it, anybody can do it, right? And I'm just going to be honest with you. Yes, if I can do it, so can you. But here's the thing. People look at my success, and they have no idea how early in my career, I was in my office pounding the phones, getting no after no after no after no after no every day, building a sphere of influence of hundreds and hundreds of people that know, like, and trust me, that now continually are referring me business and making my phone ring because I've built the relationships. But guess what? That doesn't just happen. You actually have to go out and build those relationships, which requires work. So a lot of people have struggled. Last year when the market went down, their business went down. Why? Because they weren't really working in the first place. They were just riding the market. And if you're going to sit on a surfboard and ride the market, you're going to fall off, right? Unless you train and build the experience of riding it until you get to the place where it just becomes second nature to ride that wave. I've gotten into in my career to the place where even if I don't follow my own framework, the Ultimate Success Framework, even if I don't follow it, I'm still going to do a decent amount of business, right? It's just what really motivated that was that in 2024, I lost over $3 million in volume from people that if I had only been following my own system, I would have had all that business. But when I saw that and realized I lost that, not because of the market, not because of anything that anyone else did or the skill of other agents or whatever, I lost it because I did not follow the process of building relationships, of investing time and energy into those clients. And because of that, I lost it. And so that's when last year I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to start doing what I've always done to be successful and gotten lazy with. And that's where I reinvested my energy into the framework. And then I thought, nope, I'm going to help other agents do this too. Let's actually put the framework out there, right? So that's where it came from. And guess what? My GCI was up $100,000 in 2025 from what it was in 2024. So I know that if you just follow the system, you can do the same thing. But what are we going to do? Well, we got to get back on track, right? I think so many agents I talk to, they know what to do. It's just they get lazy with it. They let, I need to work on this email campaign, and then they work tirelessly for days on their email campaign. Or here's one of my favorite things. I always talk about your list and how important your list is. I know people that open up their list and then they do nothing with it. They get distracted with it and they don't reach out to anyone because it's not right yet, or they're not sure what to say yet. They're just making excuses instead of just connecting with people. And so they've gotten off track. And when we think about being on track, think about a train. If it is off track, it's derailed, right? It's never getting to its destination. Or maybe it's on a track, but that track is called a sidetrack, right? I used to live in Europe. When I was in college, my wife and I lived in England, and we studied there for a semester, and we took trains everywhere. And occasionally you see a train that is parked on a side rail, and it's not going anywhere. It's just gone stagnant until the next time the market moves, right? Or the next time it has to hit a deadline, right? Then it gets moving again. But the thing is the trains that are going somewhere, they know their destination and they stay on the track to reach the destination. If you want to reach your destination, we got to get you back on track. You might be derailed. Maybe you're just feeling like you're off the track. You're off the rails. All right? Let's reset and get the train back on the tracks. Maybe you're on a side rail. Right? You've gone off on a tangent you didn't need to go off on. Okay, let's get you back on the main track. Let me give you some things to focus on for this year. First off, let's get back into connective work, right? So I talk about in the Ultimate Success Framework, the 4 work modes. All right, so the first work mode is connective work. You should be doing connective work every single day. Even if you have the craziest day doing holding a deal together, you need to find 20, 30, 40 minutes where you can be connecting with people. So inside of each of the work modes, there are high fives. The high 5 things that you need to be working on within that work mode. So if you show up to the office, you're not sure who to connect with in connective work, and the 1 hour you set aside for connective work today, I'm not sure what to do. Here are your high fives. Number 1, scroll with a purpose. So yes, go on social media. You're not on there to post anything, and you cannot open a video. This is really hard to do. It actually does take a lot of discipline, but you have to stay focused. You are specifically looking for people that you know, that know you, right? So if you ran into them in public, you'd be like, hey, Joe, and they would be, hey, Mark, right? Because they know who I am, right? And I go through and I see what's going on in their life, and I start making a list. So I'll be like, okay, I've talked about before Tara and her 30 days of gratitude, right? And then I've got Joe, and Joe and his wife just celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. And then I've got Darren's daughter just had a dance recital, right? That was big and exciting for them. And so-and-so's daughter is in a play, right? So I'm looking at things that people are posting, making a list, and then I'm going to start using that list to text people, to call people. And when I text, I'm going to say, hey, Darren, I just saw that Chelsea was in the recital last weekend. That looked amazing. I bet you're a proud dad. It's just that easy. I was thinking of you, and I saw that Chelsea was in that recital last weekend, right? Okay, so that's one way to do it. And we're going to use the scrolling with a purpose. You can also write handwritten notes that point out things that are going on in their lives. I saw that Chelsea was in the dance recital last weekend. She's getting so big. I bet you're a proud dad. I hope everything's going well with you. Have a great year. Sign it, right? It's that easy. Scrolling with a purpose will help give you ideas of things to talk about. But beyond that, let me tell you what you can be talking about with everyone right now, okay? So it is a new year. When you're texting people and you're calling people, Happy New Year. Hey, you know what? You crossed my mind today, and I just wanted to wish you and your family a Happy New Year. I am praying that you guys have a phenomenal year. So how did 2025 finish out for you? If you're on a phone call, that you can ask that question. How did 2025 finish out for you? And now you're having a conversation. What big plans do you have in the new year? You guys got any big vacations planned? How are things going at work, right? We call it the Ford model: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You're just having conversations. Okay, it's that easy. So that's when you're making a call. Text, you just say, hey, I was thinking of you today. I wanted to wish you and the family a Happy New Year. I pray that your 2026 is absolutely amazing. Hope to talk to you guys soon, right? It's that easy. Here's the amazing thing. People will respond to you. And that's what relationship building is all about. And here's another thing I encourage you to do with your list. And I've done this. I put my whole marketing list, my whole relationship building list into my Remarkable. You can just print it off though, right? And what I did is I put it in here. Every time I text someone, I just go down the page, I text them, I put a check mark next to their name and the date that I texted them, right? My goal is in the first 2 months of this year to get through my nearly 600 people that are on my list, right? And I've really pared my list down over the last several months. I've really narrowed this list down to the people that I want to be talking to. Now, I'm going to text almost everyone. However, there's about 100 people on here that are my key contacts, right? They are the people that I really have relationships with. Those people are going to get a call from me, checking in on them, going through the forward conversations, right? So connective work, right? You need to every day block time for your connective work. So if you're one of those people that's just hoping to ride the market, great. Go ahead. Try to ride the market. You want to make $100,000 more this year? Start connecting with people. Use a connective work mode. All right. So back on track actions. Let's start connecting with people. If you will connect with people, it will lead to this. All right. The second work mode that is important for you to be on this year is performance work. All right. Performance work is the actual money-making work. So connective work, it's money-making. It is high income producing because that is going to generate opportunities for performance work. All right. So when you get into performance work, the first thing I encourage every agent to focus on, I call it a client home value report. What's a client home value report? It's a review of their real estate portfolio and basically just what the online values are for that. Right? It's that simple. And I basically go through, I explain how the market's moving. I provide them with an RPR report, Realtors Property Resource. Listen, guys, if you're not using RPR, it's a great system for us as realtors. All right. So my goal is to present 2 to 4 client home value reports every single week. Now, I also mail those out. Okay, and I do video emails with them as well. If I'm mailing or doing video email, the day we mail it out, I text that client. I say, hey, listen, I'm sending out your client home value report for the year. I just want you to know to expect it in the mail the next couple of days, right? Then 7 days later, I put it in my task list. 7 days later, I'm going to text them. I'm going to say, hey, just wanted to make sure you received your client home value report and see if you had any questions on it, okay? Put a cover letter in there. It's a great report. All right. But listen, this is something that's going to get you in front of people. And when you're in front of people, doing a live client home value report, presenting their value to them, you might even pull some comps in their neighborhood, whatever you feel comfortable presenting to them. Here's the thing. You want to get to the magic questions. There's 2 magic questions with one statement in between. All right. Here it is. Magic question number 1. Hey, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today. And I just wanted to know, would you be willing to do me a favor? Okay, so how many times have you asked people that? Would you be willing to do me a favor? Could you do me a favor? No one ever says no, right? They're going to say yes. Yeah, great. You've just provided them with a lot of value. You've talked about their home value. That's really important to them. So ask them, would you do me a favor, right? This year, I am expecting to have my best year ever in real estate. But the only way that I'm going to be able to accomplish that is through people like you that know me and trust me, have used me in the past. And so the question is this, okay? So that's your statement in between. Here's the last magic question. Who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate this year that I could potentially help through the process? And then zip it, right? You don't have to say another word. Just let them think about it and come up with people that you can potentially work with. And you know what? They may not have anyone right off the top of their head, but let me say this. You just provided a ton of value. The next time a friend says, yeah, we're thinking about selling our house this year, not sure who to go with. Oh, well, let me tell you, my realtor, man, he calls me every year and sends me a client home value report that he reviews with me. I just was on with him last week, and let me tell you, he's the best in the business. You got to use him, right? So that's it. You want to get to that place where you can ask those 2 magic questions. That's why I like doing live client home value reports. All right. Now, other performance work that you want to get to by doing connective work or listing and buyer appointments, showing appointments. Okay. Showing appointments are great. Buyers are golden right now. As the market softened a little bit, buyers are golden. This is a great time to have buyers. And then writing and reviewing contracts. When you have a chance to write a contract for a client or review, an incoming offer for a seller, like that is money making activities, right? So we always prioritize those kind of things. But here's the thing. What happens is that people get busy in their performance work, and then that turns into what we call essential work, which is providing the customer service on your transactions. And they only focus on the essential work, and they stop doing their connective work, and it doesn't lead to more performance work. All right. So this year, I don't care how busy you get with all of that essential work, holding deals together and communicating with title companies and communicating with lenders and reporting back to a client on XYZ problem. Listen, the fires will be there 3 hours from now, but for this hour, focus on connective work. Focus on scheduling client home buyer reports. Listen, you'll be surprised. I reached out to someone last week. I texted him, said, hey, I was thinking of you and Martita. I hope things are going well with you, and I wanted just to wish you a happy new year. We're going into the new year. And he texted me back. He said, it's great to hear from you. How's the real estate market? And I said, it's great. I think 2026 is going to be a fabulous year. We expect to see growth. A lot of the experts in the industry are really predicting a lot of growth in the market. It's going to be a phenomenal year, right? Just a real simple response back to him. Well, he texts me back and he says, oh, that's great to hear because Martita and I are thinking of expanding our family and we're going to be ready to upgrade our home. Right? So now I just got a great buyer and seller lead, and all I did was reach out to someone I care about, check in on them, wish them a happy new year. All right? So don't forget the connective work because it will lead to performance work opportunities. All right? That's the big thing for this year. If you can focus in on those things, let me kind of recap here, okay? Have a story, write a story for the year. What does that look like for you? Create a visual of that story. So what is your vision for 2026? How is the perfect year going to play out for you? Then you know your numbers. Start connecting with people. Start talking to people. If you have a list of, 100 people, do you know that you should be able to generate at least one transaction for every 7 people on your list? So I think quick math is like around 14 transactions that you would generate just by talking to 100 people and building those relationships. So figure out how many, clients or how many transactions you need to do to hit that goal, how many families you need to serve to hit your goal, and then go and start talking to people. And if you don't have enough people on your list to hit that many transactions, well, then expand your list. Go back through social media and see, who am I missing? Who in my phone is not on my list? Who do I know that I could pick up the phone and call them tomorrow that I'm not building consistent relationships with? All right. So you've got to start connecting with people, and then let those connections turn into performance work opportunities to actually close deals, to actually generate revenue, right? Now, I say all of this. I've never been one of those people that's like, we just count transactions, because people are not transactions. We serve real families, right? They have real needs, real dreams, and we're helping them with the dream of home ownership, right? So these are real people, and we have to care about them. All right. So please don't hear in anything I'm talking about today not to care about the people. It is about the people, and it's about the relationships you have with them. And if you truly generate quality relationships, they'll know that you care about them. And here's another thing that I like to say is that the only time that I ask for referrals is when I do a client home value report. It's the only time. Otherwise, all of my other communication, all the texts I send, all the handwritten notes that I send, all of the phone calls that I make to people, I never talk real estate unless they bring it up. I talk about them, get to know them, or follow up on a situation I saw for them online. When I did my scrolling with a purpose, I am building relationship. They know I'm in the business, right? They see my posts. If I'm seeing their posts, they're seeing my posts. They know I'm in the business. I sold them the house. They know I'm in the business. So I'm just calling to check in on you. All right? If you truly care for people, you'll never be without business. So hopefully I wrap that up well. We're going to have a vision for the year. We're going to write the story for the year. We're going to connect with people. That is going to lead to lots of opportunity to perform and to close real estate deals in 2026. I want this year to be your absolute best year ever. But you got to do the work. So start with the vision, start connecting with people. That'll lead to the actual performance. Hey, check out the Ultimate Success Framework. You can find it at itsmarkpeebles.com, itsmarkpeebles.com. Go on there. You can, if you don't have the online course yet, you can get the online course there. And listen, it's going to be life-changing for you. It's 33 modules, video. I record it here in this studio. And I really do believe that it will be life-changing for you. I go into a lot of depth on the work modes and the high fives in each of the work modes to really help you accomplish more this year. And so definitely check that out at itsmarkpeebles.com. Also, follow us on YouTube. It's Mark Peebles on YouTube. Great place to go and watch the podcast. And then anywhere you get your podcast, you can like and subscribe to us, and we really appreciate it. 2025 was a great year of growth for us in this. 2026 is going to knock your socks off. We have got some amazing guests that are coming during this year, and we're going to see so many opportunities to help you be better in the business. Now go and have your best year ever in 2026. Happy New Year.